Let me ask you something gently, and I want you to really think about it for a moment. When was the last time you went for a walk, and instead of feeling better afterward, you felt more tired? Maybe even a little discouraged? Your legs felt heavy. Your knees complained. Your lower back whispered, "That's enough." And you wondered, quietly, if this is just what getting older feels like. I've had countless patients sit across from me in the exam room, lower their voice and say, "Doctor, I try to walk every day like everyone says, but I don't feel stronger. I feel worn out." Some of them feel guilty for even admitting it. Because for decades, we've been told that walking is the gold standard. That if you're over 60, walking is the safest, smartest thing you can do. But what if I told you that for many people over 60, walking is not the most effective option anymore? And what if I told you there is a far simpler, gentler exercise that can deliver better results for strength, balance, circulation, and confidence? Without pounding your joints, without exhausting your heart, and without needing long distances or perfect weather. I know that sounds surprising, maybe even uncomfortable to hear. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this works, who it's for, and how it could quietly change how your body feels day to day. As a surgeon, I've spent years inside the human body, literally seeing what breaks down with age and what holds up. I've seen knees that look fine on x-rays but ache constantly. I've seen hips that move well but feel unstable. I've seen people who walk miles a day and still struggle to stand up from a chair without using their hands. And that's where the real story begins. The truth is, aging doesn't steal our strength all at once. It sneaks up through small losses. A little muscle here, a little balance there. A slower reaction time, less blood flow to the legs. Less confidence in movement. And walking, as good as it sounds, doesn't always address those losses anymore. Walking is forward motion. It's repetitive. It's familiar. But after 60, your body needs something slightly different. It needs an exercise that reminds the muscles how to wake up again, that tells the joints they are safe to move, that signals the brain, you are still stable. You are still capable. I want you to picture this. Two people, both 70 years old. One walks every morning for 30 minutes. The other does a simple, controlled movement for just a few minutes a day, often in their living room. After 6 months, one of them still avoids stairs, worries about falling, and needs a hand to get out of a low chair. The other feels steadier, stands taller, and notices their legs feel alive again. That difference isn't luck, it's physiology. And before your mind jumps to extremes, let me reassure you. I'm not talking about intense workouts, not gym machines, not sweating until you're breathless. In fact, many of my patients were shocked at how easy this exercise felt at first. They even doubted it would work, until their bodies started responding in quiet but powerful ways. There's a moment many people over 60 experience, and they rarely talk about it. It is the moment they realize they're replanning their day around their body instead of their life. They avoid certain routes because of hills. They hesitate before standing up. They scan the room for something to hold on to. If that sounds familiar, please know this is not weakness. It's adaptation, and adaptation can be gently reversed. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a shift in thinking. I'll explain why walking alone may no longer be enough for your muscles and nerves. I'll show you the simple medical logic behind this alternative exercise and why surgeons and physical therapists quietly rely on it. And most importantly, I'll help you understand how to use it safely, confidently, and consistently in your own life. If you stay with me until the end, you'll know exactly how to start, what mistakes to avoid, and how to listen to your body without fear. You'll also understand why so many people tell me they wish they had learned this years earlier, so take a breath. Let your shoulders relax. You're not behind, you're right on time. And what you're about to learn could make your next decade feel very different from the last. When we talk about movement after 60, we need to talk honestly about how the body changes, not how we wish it would behave. This is where so much confusion comes from. Advice that worked at 40 or even 50 doesn't always translate the same way later on. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because the rules quietly change. As we age, muscle loss doesn't just mean getting thinner or weaker. It means losing the muscle fibers that react quickly. These are the fibers that help you catch yourself if you trip, stabilize your knee when you turn, or push you up from a chair. Walking, especially at a comfortable pace, doesn't challenge those fibers very much. It keeps you moving, yes, but it doesn't remind your muscles how to support you. I often explain it like this to my patients. Walking is like using the same key over and over again. It opens one door very well. But after 60, your body has many other doors that need attention. Balance, postural strength, joint control, nerve signaling. Walking barely knocks on those doors. There's also something important happening in the brain. Your nervous system thrives on deliberate, controlled movement. When you do the same motion repeatedly, like walking forward on a flat surface, the brain goes into autopilot. That's fine for endurance, but it doesn't sharpen awareness. It doesn't improve coordination. And coordination is what keeps you independent. Now let's address a common myth. Many people believe that if walking feels harder, it must be doing more good. In reality, discomfort is often a sign that certain joints are absorbing stress they were never meant to carry alone. I've seen people push through knee pain for years because they believed stopping would make them weaker. Instead, they trained their body to move around pain, creating imbalances that made everything worse. Here's something else most people don't realize. Walking primarily uses the same muscle groups over and over. The hips move, but they don't stabilize. The ankles move, but they don't strengthen in multiple directions. The core stays relatively quiet. Over time, this can lead to what I call strong but fragile. You can walk a distance, but you don't feel secure doing everyday tasks. This is where the simple exercise I'm talking about comes in. It works because it does the opposite of walking. It slows you down. It asks your muscles to hold, not just move. It wakes up the stabilizers in your hips, knees, and ankles, and it forces your brain to pay attention again. I remember a patient in her early 70s. She told me she walked every day and still felt afraid of falling. We changed one thing. Just one. Within weeks, she told me her legs felt more present, like she could feel the ground again. That's not magic. That's neuromuscular reactivation. It's your body remembering how to support itself. Another myth worth clearing up is the idea that harder is better. After 60, consistency beats intensity every single time. The exercise I'm describing doesn't exhaust you. It doesn't leave you sore for days. Instead, it leaves you feeling slightly more awake in your legs, slightly more upright in your posture. Those small changes add up faster than you think. Some people worry that if they stop walking, they'll lose their heart health. Let me be very clear. This is not about never walking again. Walking is still valuable, but it should no longer be the foundation. Think of it as seasoning, not the main meal. When you build strength, balance, and control first, walking becomes easier and safer again. And here's the part that surprises many people. This exercise doesn't require special equipment. You don't need a gym. You don't even need much space. What you need is patience and attention. You need to give your body permission to move differently. In the next part, I'll guide you through how this exercise fits into daily life, how often to do it, and what habits support it best. I'll also share common mistakes I see that can hold people back without them realizing it. Now let's talk about how this actually looks in real life. Because understanding something is helpful, but knowing how to use it is what changes your body. And I want you to imagine this fitting naturally into your day, not feeling like another chore you have to force yourself to do. The exercise itself is slow, controlled standing movement that challenges your balance and leg strength at the same time. Often it starts from something very simple, like rising from a chair without using your hands or shifting your weight deliberately from one leg to the other while staying tall. What matters is not how dramatic it looks, but how intentional it feels. When you do this correctly, you may notice something interesting. Your legs start to tremble slightly. Not from weakness, but from muscles waking up that haven't been asked to work in a long time. That trembling is communication between your muscles and your brain. It's a good sign. It means the system is reconnecting. I usually tell people to do this once or twice a day for just a few minutes. Morning is wonderful because it sets the tone for your nervous system. Evening can be helpful too, especially if your legs feel stiff after sitting. You don't need to count repetitions like you would in a gym. Instead, focus on quality. Slow down. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice how your weight shifts. Breathe naturally. Daily habits make a huge difference here. If you sit for long periods, break that pattern gently. Every hour or so, stand up and do 1 or 2 controlled movements. This keeps blood flowing and reminds your joints that they are meant to move. Over time, people tell me they feel less stiff getting up from the couch or out of the car. Diet also plays a quiet but important role. Muscles need protein to rebuild, especially after 60. You don't need extreme diets or supplements. Just make sure each meal includes a good protein source. Hydration matters more than most people think too. Dehydrated muscles fatigue faster and cramp more easily, which can discourage movement. Now let me share some common mistakes I see, because avoiding these can save you months of frustration. The first is rushing. People assume faster means better. In reality, speed removes control. Slow movement is what trains balance and stability. Another mistake is holding your breath. Breathing calmly tells your nervous system you are safe, which allows better coordination. Another big one is comparing yourself to others. Your body has its own history. Old injuries, surgeries, years of habits. Progress is personal. Some days will feel easier than others. That doesn't mean you're going backward. Healing and strengthening are not straight lines. Safety is important, especially at the beginning. Always have something nearby to hold on to if needed. A chair, a counter, a wall. There is no shame in support. In fact, using support wisely allows you to challenge yourself without fear. And fear is often the biggest barrier to progress. What I love most about this approach is how it changes confidence. People don't just feel stronger. They feel more trusting of their bodies. They stop bracing for pain. They move more freely. That mental shift is just as important as the physical one. In the final part, I want to talk to you heart to heart about what this means for your future, your independence, and why it's never too late to feel steadier and more capable in your own body. I want you to take a moment with me now and imagine your life a year from today. Not a dramatic fantasy, just a quiet, realistic picture. You stand up from a chair without thinking about it. You walk across a room without scanning for support. You step outside and feel grounded, not cautious. That sense of ease, that subtle confidence, is what so many people miss without even realizing it's possible again. Growing older does not mean shrinking your world. It does not mean accepting fear as part of daily movement. I've seen people in their 70s and 80s reclaim a sense of stability they thought was gone forever. Not through punishment or pushing harder, but through respect for how the body truly works at this stage of life. The simple truth is this: walking keeps you moving. But controlled, intentional movement keeps you independent. When you train your body to support itself, everything else becomes easier. Stairs feel less intimidating. Uneven ground feels manageable. Even standing still feels more secure. That's not a small thing, that's freedom. If you take one message from this video, let it be this: you don't need to do more. You need to do what matters. A few mindful minutes each day, done consistently, can outperform miles of effort that don't address the real problem. Strength, balance, and awareness are the foundation. Walking should rest on top of that, not replace it. I know starting something new can feel uncertain, especially if your body has let you down before, but this approach is gentle. It meets you where you are, and it builds quietly, without drama, until one day you realize you're moving through your day with less hesitation. You deserve to feel capable in your own body. You deserve to trust your legs again. And you deserve to age with dignity, not fear. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to support the channel by liking the video. It helps this information reach others who may need it just as much as you did. Subscribe if you want more calm, honest guidance on staying strong and independent as you age. And I would truly love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me how movement feels in your body right now, or what you hope to improve in the months ahead. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your body. It's been carrying you for a long time, and with the right care, it can carry you well for many years to come.